I just want to clarify something real quick, in case I didn't before. The orange turd is still going to be removed. He ain't going to stay, and he is not going to last for 4 years. Let's be clear about that. In my last videos where I said, okay, some of the things that came through in March, some of the things have shifted a little bit, that was never to indicate that now the overall plan is changing. So this is what happens when you're making psychic predictions of the future, when there's free will, when there are all these factors and variables, when people are actively making choices and decisions, when karma is being cleared, all of this stuff. The big overall picture doesn't change. The big overall picture hasn't changed. It's that what all is happening in the middle. All of the sticky icky, all of the minutia, all of the thousands of micro decisions and actions that are made and taken, all of this stuff changes how we get there. But none of this stuff that happens in the meantime, as long as we stay on a trajectory, none of this stuff changes the overall outcome. And the trajectory that I'm seeing, it's actually speeding up, but it's speeding up in a more peaceful way. So before, where I was seeing like, oh my gosh, all this chaos and intensity, and the people are so pissed, and there's like an edge to it, and it feels violent. That's why I was seeing like a swift kick down the door type of removal. But now that that energy is shifted, I'm not seeing it end up in that way. But that doesn't mean it's not still going to happen. Does that make sense? Because the point is, guys, he does not belong there. The end, period. He didn't win fairly. We blue Lulus, we in the 4 a.m. club, we know that. He didn't win fairly, he doesn't deserve to be there. But not only that, as we are seeing public sentiment turn away from him and the party and everything they stand for, as we see people getting pissed and pushing back, he deserves to be there even less. The will of the people, by and large, is not with him. So all of this, energetically, all signs point to he's not going to last. He's not going to stay. He's not going to make it 4 years. It's not happening. The only thing that is changing is how and how fast. And listen, I know we want him gone yesterday. I know. We all feel that way, okay? We all feel it. But just because the road is maybe a little more like meandery than we want it to be, doesn't mean we're not getting to the same destination, okay? So let's enjoy the view. Let's enjoy the view on this journey as we curve through the wilderness. And that's why I'm sharing so many different insights, so many big picture looks into what's unfolding now that are so damn positive, so damn hopeful, that we are seeing a change of hearts happen. We are seeing cultural changes, personal changes. We are seeing the people rise up in ways that we haven't, at least in my lifetime. All these things are so incredibly beautiful. So if we are so fixated on the one thing we want to see in the timeline we want to see it, we're missing the journey. And we're really only pissing ourselves off. We're not affecting change better because we're mad about things being slower. We're not doing anyone any favors by just being pissed and missing out on all the positive stuff that's happening along the way. So on a spiritual journey, there are all these buzzwords that we say: surrender, trust, let go of the outcome, hand it over to the divine. And they kind of sound, empty love and light fluff, but there's real wisdom and there's real power in those concepts. When we go through life with a stranglehold on what we want to have happen and when, that is not the vibe. That is not the way. And I'm saying this as a person who has gone through life doing that before. It took me many, many years to learn surrender and trust, and it's awful. And especially if you've got childhood trauma and religious trauma where the people in charge of taking care of you were actually the ones who were hurting you, making life difficult. So I'm not unsympathetic to the challenges of learning this way. Definitely not unsympathetic. But as someone who has gone through it and come out the other side and has now experienced life from a position of learning to trust and learning to let it unfold and learning to have a positive mental attitude while I do, of watching for the unfolding, of looking at the positive and of being excited about the changes, I'm telling y'all, night and day difference. No, these aren't easy skills to master. This is not as easy as flipping a switch. But if you devote yourself to the work, it's so worth it, guys. It is so worth it. I will, if you're curious about learning how to do that, I'll redirect you to my emotional support playlist. And in particular, there's a 2-part video. I think it's either from November or December, where I say how I learned to be happy. I tell you about my journey of mental health challenges for actual decades and what it took for me to learn to change my brain, because it did fundamentally change my brain. I am a different person because I learned these skills. So, when I come up with an update that says, hey, things have changed a little, I want you to please resist the urge to be disappointed. Or if you are disappointed, lean into that, dig into that. What's that bringing up for you? Why does that trigger you? What is the challenge in learning to surrender and trust and have faith for a higher outcome? Do that work, guys. Do that work, because that work is what's in between you and a more successful, more happy outcome. Okay?